When winning is the only option, the sharpest bettors in the world call me. Not because of what I know, but who I know. And the results, well, they speak for themselves. But talk is cheap. So let me show you. The Syndicate Insider Show starts now.
You know why I'm wearing an Orioles shirt? Because after the Monday Night Football game yesterday, I couldn't wear a Ravens shirt.
No chance.
Now, I said this the last video. I said, who's going to beat Brady? Who's going to beat Brady?
The only team who's got a shot at beating Brady is Pittsburgh.
That's really heartening to hear from a Baltimore Ravens
sure
fan.
it is.
Right.
I'm sure it is.
It's exactly. I mean,
I think
you want to double stick it to me, really.
They're the best team in football. The Patriots are, but
I was going to say Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's second. Pittsburgh's second, right behind them. Not much, and they're not far behind them.
Got it. So let me ask you this question: the bowl games, I bet on December 5th, Army plus 7.5 here in Vegas. And then on game day, it was 4.5, and the game was obviously played at M&T Stadium, where the Ravens played, because the Ravens were getting ready to go to New England. How early do you recommend betting these bowl games in anticipation of lines moving? Because you're a line maker. You obviously have your numbers. You make your numbers. You're obviously looking for the edge, the value. And these guys call up and they say, hey, John, especially when games are approaching key numbers of 7. Or you have for instance, the Ravens next week are -6. If you think that game is going to approach 7, do you run down and do you play the game now, or do you wait till game day? Do you gamble?
Why would you wait?
Exactly.
If it's 6 and you think it's going to go up, you bet the game. I recommend betting as soon as the line comes out. The limits are a little lower, but you're going to get the best possible number you can. You just mentioned the Navy game. The line came out 10.
Right, I thought I was a wise guy at 7.5.
Well, you know what? It really didn't matter because anybody who took 4 won the game.
Right.
There's a lot of people who took +4, but that game opened 10. It was bet down to 4.
So let's talk about the Monday Night Football game, and then we'll move on to future games. Ravens opened up at +8.
Yep.
Went down to 6. Somebody was middling that game.
Well, there was people taking +6.5 as well.
Yes, but there are also, if you had 8, I'm sure you bought back a little at -6.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't think there's a whole lot of there's not a lot of value in it. You're better off just staying with your +8. 8's like 7.5 in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
7s don't fall. I mean, 7 is a key number, but it doesn't fall often enough to have a middle going. If I would rather take 3.5 and lay 2.5,
right,
than take 8 and take 8 and lay 6. Much more value in that.
Regarding college basketball and teams like the Warriors, which we'll get to after that, what's your perception of these good teams? I noticed just been laying eggs in the first half. Back to your pace system, which obviously on the VIP page we talk about. I see these teams just like not trying, basically. To me, it looks like they're not trying, and then they come back and they just wipe the opponents out. Michigan the other day was 50-50.
Well, you're flipping back and forth. You're talking NBA, now you're talking.
Well, so I said I'm going to get.
Let's first talk NBA and what you're talking about. It hasn't changed in 40 years. Don't watch the game to the last 2 minutes. Why do they say that? Because the teams don't try hard until 2 minutes to go. So good teams do fall behind early. Let's go to college basketball. You talked about the pace system. Second halves, the pace system is killing second half college totals right now. Destroying them.
Now, what about sides? For instance, UCLA, Michigan, the game's tied 50-50, and then they just rally. UCLA just takes them to the woodshed in the second half. Is that because they're just purposely not trying in the first half?
No. It's because, okay, let's go to Monday Night's football game. It's Baltimore versus New England. It was 16-0, but you know what? A lot of it had to do with field position. Baltimore's defense did an outstanding job against Brady early in the game because they threw all kinds of tricks at him.
Right.
Well, they ran out of tricks, and it's the same thing in college basketball. The weaker opponent throws all kinds of tricks at the favorite.
Right.
And they keep them in the game, and then all of a sudden when you run out of tricks, and now it's talent versus talent, the better talent wins out. And that's why they played 2 halves. If they only played 1 half, a lot of underdogs would win a lot of games.
So I ask you this every year. the underdog is going into the halftime in college basketball, and they're up. I'm talking 10-point, 12-point, 15-point dogs.
Yeah.
We see it all the time. They're going and they're up or they're tied. And they have.
Yeah.
Is the coach telling that underdog, like, okay, you're going to get blown out? I mean, do
No.
they understand that they need to keep that momentum, or is just the other team is just so good that it's just if that other team doesn't, the dog doesn't just keep rolling, it's just a matter of time they're going to wear them down.
It's a matter of time they're going to wear them down, but they also get the message and they get the foot up their butt at halftime by the coach. And the threats of morning practice tomorrow at 6 a.m. and the next day and double, if we don't win this game, you're going to pay for it.
Well, but the flip side is the dog coach, what's he telling them at halftime?
Well, he's telling his guys, stay to the game plan, stay to the game plan, stay to the game plan. You're executing the game plan. Keep doing it. Well, all of a sudden, the game plan doesn't work anymore because the other team knows what the game plan is. And they know all the tricks now, and they go out and they destroy. But it doesn't work all the time. I had North Carolina on Sunday. Thought they were a great second half play. They're at home. I think they were down 8. They're down 8. They're down 8 at the half to Tennessee, who's very young. And I figured, well, North Carolina's going to get back in the game. The crowd's going to go crazy. The young kids are going to fall apart. Well, there was no free throws at the end. North Carolina never got a big enough lead to get some intentional fouls or force Tennessee to shoot threes. Tennessee was able to go down and get layups or in a close game, and they never could get a chance to come.
So this is a time of year where you'd say it's your most profitable time of year because you have the games that matter, the bowl games. You have college and pro basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And I would still say by far you find that the numbers are easier to beat in college versus the NBA.
No doubt about it. There's 351 teams, not all on the board at the same time. NBA, there's 30 teams. Everybody knows how good those teams are, and we just talked about it. Don't watch the game to the last 2 minutes. They don't try. College basketball is a different story. These kids are trying all the time. The reason the underdog gets a lead is because they're doing something different that the favorite didn't expect. And they're having a good game. They may be having a good game, and they're putting their A game together. And those underdogs have to play the perfect game. Sometimes the favorite plays the perfect game and gets up by 15 and wins by 30.
Right.
It happens too.
That happens.
It's not every game that the underdog actually has the lead at halftime. Sometimes they're down by 30 at halftime,
right,
and they've got no shot, or they do come back. Sometimes the favorite now lets up at halftime, and that comes down to coaching and knowing the coaches, the ones that will blow you out and the ones that will take it easy on you.
Right, in the end of the game. So now we'll end this video, this public video we're going to be posting on various sites with teams like the Warriors, where you know they're going to win. I watched it the other day. They were up 23, 24 points. They didn't cover. Is it just they're making an overvalued number on a team like that?
Well, they've been so successful.
You said knowing which coaches are going to blow you out. Is this a coach that's basically going to pull? They're playing those double game back-to-back sport.
NBA's never been a sport where anybody blows anybody out because really they only care about winning and they don't care about winning by 40. But it just happens sometimes if they're that much better than the other team. If the other team's tired and they're bad, that's a bad recipe. It's set up for disaster. But if you're good, you're rested, and you know what? Golden State gets a 20-point lead on you. They're going to let up sometimes. You got a chance to come back. You just got to find the right situation.
Right. Are you normally you're not really excited about being involved in those types of games with those really good teams
I'd rather get involved in game or during halftime. I played one last night. Houston was playing Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Houston loves to run, D'Antonio, but Brooklyn's number 1 in the NBA in pace. Number 1. They're the fastest team in the NBA. They scored nothing in the first half. I knew that the pace was fast. They just couldn't make a basket. They're going to make those baskets as long as you give me the opportunities. And I know with those two teams, I played that over. I won it. It was easy. They scored 79 points in the third quarter.
It was easy. That's the X Factor. So, like I said, if you want to find out more about the X Factor, you can call me direct at johnsyndicate.com, thesyndicateinsider.com. You can hop on over to oddsxfactor.com. Find out why he's been featured on 60 Minutes, why, I will say it publicly, impersonation is the sincerest form of flattery. A lot of people want to have access to your name. A lot of people want to have access to your fame. A lot of people want to have access to your games, and you can get access by picking up the phone and going to oddsxfactor.com or directly to syndicateinsider.com. This is your Tuesday report. Bowl games, the bowl season
Bowls are coming up.
are about
Bowls
to
are great.
are about to begin. Good day and good luck.